I am Narsimharai. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I would like to share in this video about the poverty in India. And first of all, I mention two articles from our Indian Constitution. The first is Article 21. No person shall be the deprived of this, the life or the personal, the liberty expect according to the procedure by the law. This is the first article, Article 21. Second, Article 39A of the Constitution enunciated as one of the directive the principles fundamental in the government of the country that requires the state to direct its policies towards securing that all its citizens have the right to and advocate means of livelihood. This is the Article 39A. While Article 47 spells out the duty of the states to rise. According to the Ministry of the Rural Development, the poverty, the measurement in India, how to measure and what are the precautions and what are the indicates preference for the what are the main importance collecting data from their the poverty is living the peoples. That purpose I'm collected the main data is the Ministry of Rural Development poverty measurements in India only. This the paper provides an overview of estimation of the poverty by the various the expert the groups in India. It also discusses the limitation of the below poverty lines approach in India. It also an overview of other the poverty measures their assessment about India. Poverty can be defined as the condition in which an individual or household lack to the financial resource to afford a basic minimum standard of living. However, the perception regarding what constitutes poverty may vary over time and across the countries. A conventional approach to the measuring the poverty is to specify a minimum expenditure required to the purchase the bucket of goods and the services necessary to satisfy the basic human needs. This expenditure is called the poverty line. The basket of the goods and the services necessary to satisfy the basic human needs is the poverty line basket. The poverty can be measured in terms of the number of people living below this line. The poverty line is calculated based on of consumption required for the maintaining the minimum standard of the living in the country. India has undertaken periodic assessment of the incident of the poverty since the 1960 according to Rangarajan Committee 2024. Due to widespread the criticism of the Tendulkar Committee approaches as well as due to charging the times and aspirational of the people of India, the Rangarajan Committee was set up in 2012. Submitted its report in June 2014. It reverted to the practice of the having the separate all Indian rural and the urban the poverty line baskets and the deriving state level and the urban estimates from this. from this. It recommended the separate consumption in the baskets for the rural and urban areas, which include the food items that ensure the recommended calories, the proteins and fat intake, and the non-food items like clothing, educational, health, housing, and the transport, etc. This committee raised the daily per capita expenditure to 47 rupees for the urban and 37 for the rural from 32 and 26 respectively at 2011-12, and monthly for the capita consumption expenditure of 972 rupees in rural areas and 1407 in urban areas as the poverty line at the all India level. In July 2013, based on the Tendulkar poverty line, the Planning Commission released the poverty data for the 2011-12. The number of the poor in the country was pegged at 269.8 millions or 21.9% of the population. Unlike the BPL conducers, SECC 2011. SECC means socio-economical. The caste census 2011 allows for the first time to track the deprivation of the household and address the gaps effectively with the focus on the multidimensional of poverty. India ranked 107 out of 121 the countries in the Global Hunger Index GHI 2022. And fourth, the criteria to the measure the deprivations, that are: first one, households with only one room with no solid wall and roof, households with no adult male aged 15 to 59. Third, the female headed households. Fourth, households with differential added members. Fifth, household with no able the bodies members. Sixth, SC/ST households with no literate the members are above the age of 25. The landless households deriving the major portion of their income from the government has used SEC the data for the identification of the beneficial households while the implementation its social welfare programs. It is well accepted now globally as well as in India that poverty is multi-dimensional and only through a concentrated the effect on its the various dimensions. The real dent on the poverty can be made. The globally evidence indicate that India is in the place of poverty reduction and the meeting its the poverty elimination goals by 2030.